Shit, what's this podcast called?
Discourse of Human Events.
The discourse is just crazy.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my age. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. I wanna look and feel years younger, baby. I wanna look and
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Dildos. There we go.
Alright. So, we brought on Cory. I know he is our resident necrophiliac expert, but he also knows a lot about guns, so I figured he would be a good one to discuss gun control and all this.
I'm glad I
crazy
get
talk
to be
about guns.
a different kind of expert for an episode.
We can also go through all the victims and you can comment on hot corpse, not hot corpse, if you really want to.
They're all under 18 from what I remember, so all not hot.
That's a 6.
All under 18. I mean, it's not like you're a necrophiliac in there going, but underage, now that's wrong.
We actually wondered about that. Like, does it make it worse if it's underage necrophilia?
I don't know. That person's not alive, so...
I'm not sure if that... Yeah, I don't know.
I think once you hear the necrophiliac part,
that
you're already
feeling.
like, that's fucked up. So you've
I don't
already
need that
ended
in
the
my Google
conversation.
search history.
Are you going to type in your Google search history? Is it worse to fuck dead kids?
Yeah, I'm not going to. That's not coming up.
So anyways, so this is like, I mean, after every shooting, there's always talk about gun control, but for whatever reason, this one specifically, it's taken off way more than normal. Why?
Which is odd, because like the last one, it was like 400 people. This one's like 17.
Do you
So
think
this
it's because
is-
it's a school?
It's a large number at a school.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a school. Oh, by the way, in the last podcast we did, Nick, we talked about the record. Oh, I don't know if it was the record, but the Columbine number was 13, and we said the only way for people to actually care about it or for it to be in the news, it has to be double digits.
I know, and then we got a double digit
And then it
one.
happened.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I did say that.
Like, literally just days later after we recorded. It was like, well, fuck.
Do you think the government's listening to our podcast? And then they're like, oh, he didn't do it big enough.
Oh, we'll show that.
We need to stage another one so we can get the gun control debate going. And that's when they went and hired the actor. And
the actor?
Oh, yeah.
The actors.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. I saw that guy in Saved by the Bell. Pretty sure he played Screech.
I will say the first part of your question is probably true. Is the government listening to this podcast? There might actually be, yes.
I think at some point they have these people are just stupid. Like cutoff point. No, not terrorists. Just dumb and crazy. And probably drunk or high.
Yeah, they have like little buckets to throw things in. We're always thrown into the dumb bucket. Just dumb.
What's that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? We're all marked as mostly harmless.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly true. So anyways, with the gun control, they're talking about like just straight up banning guns. And also a college randomly in somewhere in Ohio, protested and like didn't show up to class, like left class because
it's gotta be
safety.
Sounds like Miami U.
No, what's the really liberal one?
Oh, the one that we walked past it several times.
Yeah.
The first,
Nick, share your screen and bring that up.
Oh, sure. It's got to be the
African American voter, right?
What?
The the first
American
voter.
Northeast Ohio.
It's like one of the most liberal ones in the entire country.
I think it was Miami, though. That's sounding right.
No.
Which is funny if it's Miami University protesting with the Florida shooting.
Yeah, and the first thing people come up like, what? Miami University is not in Florida?
Yeah. Type in walkout for safety. I just thought that was really silly. Like for a school to protest for their safety when it was like, you're like 4 or 5 states away from where this even happened.
But crazies can be any
Upper Arlington students walk out.
Upper Arlington, it was in Columbus area.
Yeah, but that's not a university, is it? Those are high schools.
That's high school, yeah.
I feel like if it's high school, I'm pretty sure it's just to get out of school.
You walk out to
gun control, but I walk out with them.
Like, we need our safety.
Fuck them!
It's unacceptable.
I mean, when we were in middle school, we participated in a walkout, something to do with the levee, but I didn't give a fuck while we were walking. It's like, oh, we're going to get out of school to protest something?
In middle school,
let's go. Yeah, the high school did a walkout, and we're like, yeah, we're going to join them, and just got up and left class.
I don't remember this.
Well, you guys
I was probably in elementary school, though, at the
time.
You're probably...
I would have been
I would have been... It was 8th grade, so... I don't know.
Oh, 8th grade, then I would have been in 9th, so... No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you would have been...
Man, you guys have a lot of things to do when you're in middle school.
No, we didn't. It's like...
That's the problem. We didn't
There's
have
nothing
any
there, so of course you gotta make your own shit to do.
We had to entertain ourselves.
In
fact, most of what I did for my high school career was play Magic the Gathering.
Video games and pot.
Fortunately, it didn't get him into a good college.
Didn't work out.
The cost is not
there was no Magic the Gathering college. Unfortunate.
If they have it.
So, Cory, what are your thoughts on gun control?
Alright, so I'm
against
I'm against laws for things.
Altogether, just laws, period.
Well,
laws! Who needs them, am I right?
One of my favorite Penn Jillette quotes is, if someone says there ought to be a law, there probably shouldn't be a law. So,
okay.
But I'm pro changing the system. I want licensing of ownership of guns.
With guns. To the no laws.
There should be...
Let's use guns to get rid of gun control.
There should be mental health checks. There should be a licensing system. I have to get a license to carry my pistol concealed in the state of Ohio. You should probably be licensed to own any sort of firearm outside of guns that are considered strictly for hunting. And I don't care what these jackasses on the internet say, an M14 is not a hunting rifle either, just because it doesn't have a pistol grip and cool front end. It's the exact same thing as an AR-15. It's the same gun. Nobody uses an M14 to hunt
just different look.
Yeah, because the big thing is everybody's like, well, that's a military gun. It looks like a military gun. The M14 doesn't look like a military gun. Exact same gun. 30-round clip, shoots 5.56 ammo, can unload your clip in a matter of seconds. It's the same gun. I'm against, it's really weird the way some states do it. Like California, the AR-15 I own isn't legal in California because it's got a open grip.
Okay.
Wait, what's an open grip mean?
So it has a full pistol grip.
I still don't know what that means in terms of...
Alright, did you see the picture I sent you? I'm going to bring it up real quick.
So one thing I gotta say, though, with the mental health checks on weapons, though, I feel like that could be an issue because mental health is such a wide range of things.
Yeah.
Like that covers depression all the way up to schizophrenia. So it's like, when you say mental health checks, what exactly are we looking for? What level?
But, they can't diagnose
history of violence.
so I think I'm in the clear.
history of violence, gun crime, or
the problem that if a person with depression got a gun is that they might harm themselves. So in order to prevent them harming themselves, the police should come in and shot that person dead. Right?
What? Sure. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
She lost me
Right.
too.
I'm so confused with what Chloe just said.
She
What'd
says she wants
say?
to kill depressed people. I'm
No,
pretty
it's
sure.
Let them kill
back
themselves.
when there's a student trying to kill himself, and police come in. Instead of saving the student, they kill the student first.
Okay.
Problem solved, right? You can't kill yourself now, huh?
Can't kill yourself because we killed you.
Exactly.
Got him.
Your face.
Alright, so
Alright.
these two, this is actually, the one on top is my AR-15, and the one below it is my
that's
brother's.
what looks like a normal gun.
That's a normal AR-15.
Yeah.
Mine, the silver one, I built to look pretty because it's a toy, not a tool, in my opinion. And my brother's is a little more traditional. This, you see how it's got this blocked, and you can see these other ones where it's got little fins blocking from being able to.
Yeah, why would you
use it
want
as
that though?
You don't want it, but in the state of California, it's not considered an assault rifle if you have these filled in, so you can't use it as a pistol grip. It's got to be what's called, like this shows, a straight line grip. So
why does that matter?
You tell me. I have no idea.
Is this just
this is
wonky
arbitrary
California
as they can
rules?
make it.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's essentially a fear. They say if it doesn't look like an assault rifle and you can't hold it like a military-style gun, then it's not as bad.
Basically, California tries to do with gun laws the same thing like conservative states try to do with abortion. Where, like, they try to make as much restrictions as humanly possible that can't be legally challenged, no matter how little sense they make, to prevent it.
Yeah.
So they can't ban guns, but they can come up with really weird, arbitrary rules, right?
Yeah, this is a very arbitrary rule. Like, we'll make it so you can't hold the gun very well.
Yeah.
And what irritates me is the one stock there, the one I had real big, I like the design of that, but getting it without the California mod is near impossible because they sell out instantly. I could buy it with the California mod, and then I'd have to go through a whole lot of effort to cut that shit out. So
they don't make it easy to, like, get rid of that part?
No, because it has. If it was easy to get rid of it, California wouldn't let it go through.
Like, they couldn't even just make it so it's, like, screwed in?
No, well, I'm sure that's the way it is, but I would have to take the whole thing apart, and then the way that system's built, there's a bunch of springs and levers in there that I know I would end up not putting it back together right.
That's true.
But didn't the manufacturer make the one that's not for California?
Yeah.
Then why do you have to buy the California model and then cut it off?
Well, no, so it's just the other one's not available because they sell out.
Oh, okay.
The non-California models are the only ones that sell.
They sell so much of the non-California ones.
Right.
That's hard to get the non-California ones.
I see.
And like that
so you
AR-15
basically
I
have
showed,
to hold it like a rifle, like a hunting rifle, basically.
And beyond that, it's the idea of banning the sale of an AR-15 at the moment. Like, so they were talking about this kid was 19, and you can walk into any gun shop in the United States and buy an AR-15 at the age of 19 because it's considered a long gun and not a pistol. You don't have to go through a store to buy an AR-15 technically. I bought all the parts for my gun online, and there's only one part that you have to buy through a gun seller, and it's the part that houses the trigger.
Really?
So there's a loophole, though, and it's a really stupid loophole, but the government allows it. You can buy what's called an 80% lower, and the part that you have to get is called the lower, and it comes fully formed except the chamber that holds the trigger isn't milled out yet, so it's a solid block of aluminum. And then you either have to take it to a custom shop where they'll cut it out, or you buy this $120 jig and drill it out yourself. And then you've made a gun on your own without having any
arbitrary rule.
Yeah.
Right. So if you buy a regular lower part, it's got a serial number and the government can track that you purchased it. If you buy an 80%, there's no serial number. Nobody knows you bought it because you can get it shipped to your house. When I bought my lower, I had to...
because you're planning something and you don't want
it's perfectly
any sort
legal.
of record.
Right.
So it's not illegal to have one of these, even though there's no serial number?
No, it's perfectly legal. You can... Technically, in most states, you can still build your own guns. Like, if you were a blacksmith and just wanted to start making your own gun for funsies, you can do that. And there's not going to be a serial number on that gun.
Because it's impossible to...
No, you can put a serial number on your gun. It can be 001.
First one I made, suckers.
Trace that, bitch.
The serial number on my AR-15 is 43. So, not a popular model that I built, but I like it a lot.
That's kind of my argument for why gun control is being done so poorly right now, because it is just a bunch of arbitrary bullshit. Or if we just had, you can buy whatever you want, but there's serial numbers and we have to take down your name and stuff. Dude, seems like
a national registry? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
seems like that would just be more useful.
So, there are certain ways they have of tracking things better. They're not supposed to keep any record of who buys a gun at a store using background checks. If I go to the Sportsman's Den here in town tomorrow,
they're not supposed to do that?
Right. If I purchase a Glock tomorrow, they'll call it in, make sure that I don't have anything in my background, and then tell the store, he can buy a gun. It's about a 20-minute process, and I can walk out of there with a brand new gun. Supposedly, the FBI immediately destroys all those records of anybody who called in.
Yeah, supposedly.
Right, and the store is supposed to destroy most of the sales. Or no, they have to keep the sales records. They just aren't allowed to digitize them, which seems really stupid. But that's
an
a law
arbitrary thing.
Yeah, it's a law that got passed years ago for no reason into the ATF, other than the NRA was pushing for it. All gun sales records are paper only, which you would think that would hinder most gun stores, but whatever.
I don't think it would. I think a lot of the kinds of people that are into guns aren't normally the same people that are really into computers.
Right, until you get into big stores like Cabela's and big ones like that.
I can see that being a problem.
I kind of want to see lobby to make the rules even more arbitrary. I want the guy selling the gun has to hop on one foot and sing out a little
the entire time
selling it. I don't know, just really weird stuff.
You also need to think about how to enforce those things, man. You can't just enforce the salesperson to upload a video.
Well, no, the salesperson, the bank's just not going to... It can't deal with anyone that, doesn't hop on one foot when they're selling guns.
I think it would be funnier if they did, gun control, but, the actual, NRA and pro-gun people got into it, so to boost profits, it's before you're allowed to own an AR-15, first you have to buy 3 pistols, and then before you can buy an automatic, you have to have 3 semi-automatics.
It's like a leveling up system?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that's actually not a bad idea for a business.
Because a lot of people, those people who have the tendency to do whatever, they probably don't have a whole lot of budget, right? And in order to get AR-15, you have to spend a whole lot of money on it. Eventually, you'll get it. That's effort.
But then, Chloe, it's an unfair system. Then only the very wealthy can go on murder sprees. Think about all the poor. The poor folks not being able to go on murder sprees.
The poor people cannot go on the murder spree. That's full-blown discrimination.
Jim Jeffries has a series of jokes about one of the kids that did a shooting a couple years ago. He used a factory purchase Bushmaster AR-15. And he's like, in the United States, that's about a $900 gun. In Australia, where they have a gun ban, that's a $25,000 gun. So if you saved up $25,000, fuck it, you've got $25,000. Why do you need to shoot up a school at this point? Like, you're pretty good at whatever you're doing. Fucking just like keep saving.
I feel like that with $900. Like, not too many people that are crazy enough to shoot a whole bunch of people also have the discipline to just save up $900. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's very odd, though, right?
Yeah,
but $900 is for
in LA was some big movie director's son.
Oh, he didn't shoot. I thought he stabbed.
Oh, whatever.
He was a stabber.
He was one of them stabby stabs.
That's enough.
Not all AR-15s are that much. You can go to a gun show and buy them for as little as $350, $400.
Really? How was the market done after the election?
Prices have recently dropped, actually.
That's what I thought.
So this week, they've went up, obviously, because everybody thinks that the government's about to come get their guns, so they're selling out again.
Gouging stage.
I'm almost convinced that the whole thing's not some giant government conspiracy. It's a gun manufacturing conspiracy. They're giving these kids the guns and being like, hey, maybe you want to go and maybe make politicians think about banning them so we can up our gun sales again.
Like, the military's like, shit, we bought too many AR-15s. Can we get a school shooting here?
Right. And then all of a sudden they sold out again.
Yeah.
The amazing part to me, and I only know this because of how hard it was to get ammunition during Obama's era, because everywhere was always sold out. Nothing is better for a gun company than a Democratic president.
Right now.
Because he can't actually do full-on gun control, because it'll never make it through Congress. But the Republican citizens are scared enough that they buy out ammunition, they buy out all the guns before anybody else can get them, so they can hoard them. Yeah, people like my grandpa, when he was alive, that had 1,000 rounds of ammo for every gun in his house. And when we died, we found out he had 52 guns and 1,000 rounds of ammo for every one of them.
And despite your inheritance from this, you still thought, I should buy another AR-15.
I needed an AR-15.
And that's not enough. What I got.
He didn't have one, and we had started building him before he died.
It's not a complete collection.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's like any other hobby. You just want more of whatever you're into.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point of the hobby.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
just curious, like, devil's advocate, like, what people's arguments are against it. Like, why do they think nobody should ever own a gun, and how that possibly would work?
Well, I mean, the other countries do have it, where you just
there are countries that do it, it's just not easy. A lot of countries
but they also, how long have they had that in place? Like, the United States has always been a you can have a gun country. Like, if you banned guns tomorrow, what are we going to do with all the guns that have already been manufactured and produced?
So,
like, you
what they
already
would
own
do
an
is
AR-15.
actually, what a lot of countries have done to curtail that is actually, instead of, like, alright, so you can't buy new guns, but for those people who already have them, we're going to make it impossible for you to get ammunition. They can control the sale of new ammunition. And now, if you have a gun, and this is like, everybody always talks about Switzerland, where everybody's armed. Every household has a minimum of 2 weapons.
Yeah, but they don't have ammunition.
But nobody in Switzerland has ammunition. If you want to get ammunition for that weapon, you have to go to your local police station. You have to buy it and sign it out, give them a reason for why you're taking it, and you have to have a legitimate reason, and then you can get ammunition for your gun and go shoot it. So
all I can think of
one of the
is,
things
like, in Switzerland, if someone's breaking into their house, instead of reaching over to get a bat, they reach over to get their gun and just pull it up by the barrel, and they're going to hit them with the gun.
Right, because they can't.
Well, I would think a baseball bat would be more, handy, but...
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also an American thing, so no, they don't got that.
So you can't just have a gun to protect yourself. You can't buy ammunition for that reason.
No, they restrict the possession of all of that unless you're licensed. And most people over there, you can go get ammunition and hunt, but you have to go to the police station, sign the ammunition out, and go hunt. And then bring them back your leftover
So you can get
ammunition.
around that. Like, you can go on a hunting trip,
And then collect some.
in air quotes, and save the ammo.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't go like, I need like 10,000 rounds. I'm gonna go hunting at school. Like,
Yeah, but over a couple years.
Right, but then...
build it, constantly just go... That takes a lot of planning.
That's...
you gotta really
also,
several years out.
You can make ammo, right? It's not like you can buy the stuff to make ammo. You just need gunpowder and
in the United States, you can. There it would be the same as the ammunition control, because you have to buy the shell, you have to buy a primer, you have to buy the gunpowder, and then you have to have the bullet. That's 4 parts, plus you have to have what's called the reloading system, which has the clamps, dies. There's a whole system. I've done it, and nothing makes you feel crazier than sitting around making bullets, by the way. And
I think that would be fun.
It's the science part of it is fun. The being worried you might have put a little too much gunpowder, and then you have a heavy load that fucking rocks your hand because you put too much gunpowder in a revolver round.
It doesn't automatically dispense the right amount?
No, a lot of times you're sitting there like a crackhead and putting it into this little weight system that says, that's 43 grams. And you're like, it looks about right, and knock it in.
That's about right.
Did you ever try to resell them as artisanal, locally sourced bullets?
That's a genius idea. I might set up a booth at the next gun show and artisanal bullets. Dye the brass blue or something and let it... That'd be hilarious.
But here's the thing. Switzerland has the internet, right? Can you buy ammo off the internet?
I doubt you can get it shipped into Switzerland.
You probably could, though. I mean, there's just, customs. Chances are they won't inspect the shit.
But don't forget Switzerland is surrounded by the other European countries, which don't allow guns.
Just cross the border, buy some bullets, and go back.
But I guess the thing is,
it's mostly the populace.
Probably won't say they won't ship to Switzerland because they ban them and they don't want to.
Yeah.
So you probably have to go buy them in the
US
but you
yourself,
could drive.
Mail them There's trains. There's trains. There's all kinds of ways to go get ammo. There's always wherever there's a rule, there's a way around the rule. So I guarantee you, people in Switzerland have plenty of ammo if they ever want it. You can get it.
But it comes down to a culture thing. They, for the most part, are the happiest people in the world and don't need it. They've got one of the lowest crime rates and lowest percentage of people that believe in God in the world, and they're very happy.
It's one thing I think maybe we were talking about this last time. 20 years ago, it was huge news, and the gun control laws were the exact same. Actually, less severe as they are now, right? But today, constant shootings. So it's not the gun control laws. Something in our culture has really gone off the rails.
I definitely think it's a culture thing.
Something's really gone wrong.
I mean, I don't have kids, so I like to say this. I like to blame the parents. Because and it goes back, the first real big famous one, obviously, is Columbine. So, how do you get away with letting your kid build, bombs in your garage and you don't notice it? And
that's true.
The same goes, this kid in Florida.
I don't know, bombs, we did a lot of dumb shit when we were kids that our parents probably didn't know about, and I feel like
propane,
if we wanted to go in the backyard and build a bomb, if it's just chemicals and we knew what we were somewhat doing, we could probably have done it.
There's a difference between a bomb and buying 20 propane tanks and strapping bombs to them and keeping them in your garage.
That's a little different, yes.
Right.
There should be a question of why are there 26 propane tanks here now?
Right. To do that, somebody should have paid attention in the high school chemistry class.
Yeah. See, we probably just wouldn't have been able to figure it out. We'd have been like,
that would have been our bigger issue. We would have blown ourselves
up. I think that'll make a bomb, right?
I put more than one crater out at my aunt's farm, I'll be honest, but it comes down to who talked to these kids? Did anybody ever pay attention to them? What other issues did they have at home? Or nobody ever wants to ask that of a grieving parent. It's like, hey, you fucked up. Why was your kid so fucked up?
Yeah, it's not always that, though. Like,
it's not always, but...
Yeah, the guy that shot up the theater, the dressed up as Joker, or the guy that shot up the kids in Newtown, I think those people were both just off the rocker fucking insane. Like,
yeah, they're crazy people.
Like, just nuts. Just plain nuts. The parents didn't do anything wrong. Those people had parts of their brain that were really fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And that's where it should have been a check before they could get their hands on those weapons.
Yeah.
Someone at some point should have followed up on that. Like, if you went through high school and they knew you were autistic.
When you go to buy. Like, there should be on the form. Yeah, on the form. Like, just
I got a bad vibe.
Yeah, like a checkbox for, on a scale from 1 to 10, how creepy is this guy? I'm pretty sure a couple shooters would score a 10.
That's true.
And, like, there should be, and there used to be somewhat of a check, but, like, people who are mentally imbalanced throughout high school, there's a record of that. That should be continued on. That should be on your permanent record and be like, oh, you beat up a lot of people in high school and got angry all the time. Maybe we should examine you before we allow you to buy this high-power rifle.
Yeah. I don't know about a permanent
some sort of check.
If they didn't actually legitimately do anything wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A permanent record of mental illness is not a good idea.
Yeah, like, criminal, if they actually committed a criminal act. But if, like, you're just depressed or something, or you have ADD, like, I don't think,
Oh, I'd be screwed if ADD wasn't out.
Yeah, that's... Especially you being a libertarian, that's a lot to give the government. Like,
oh, trust me, I know. It's a cognitive dissonance that I don't like the idea of new laws, but I also don't want more dead kids or dead people generally.
I just think it's something to do with our culture. I was wondering, do you think we're going to find something to do with an environmental influence or something that's actually causing more mental illness in America? Like 50 years down the road, we'll be able to pinpoint and be like, oh, clearly it was this. Just like people were getting poisoned by, what was it in the gas that was poisoning everybody? Lead. Like shit like that.
Well, lead poisoning is the corruption, right? Technically.
I mean, it could be as simple as a chemical imbalance, but you'd have to have someone who's willing to host a study on the chemistry of everybody who becomes a mass shooter. And you'd have to get the government or a scientific institution to back that. And the ATF blocks most of those studies.
Who blocks it?
The ATF. Via a few rules. The alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
They're basically the coolest government agency.
Right,
why would they block those studies?
Because they've been told to by Congress. There were laws passed in the early 90s, I believe, maybe Clinton era, that blocked them from being able to gather any data on things like that. It was all stuff backed by the NRA. So they block it.
That seems like a worse idea for them.
Whatever stops you from trying to take away their guns, quote unquote, take away their guns.
Well, I'm thinking, like, if you could test shooters and there was some kind of brain or chemical occurrence that happened in all of them, like, you could actually find a pattern, like, it tends to have this pattern. It'd be easier to be like, hey, we can't sell you guns because you have the, like, typical brain pattern of a school shooter.
Well, then you're getting in a minority report where you're trying to predetermine.
You are, but isn't that what you're doing with mental health? Like, just because you have some kind of criminal activity in your past doesn't mean you're going to do it in the future.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Yep. Preventative care.
It's a more on an individual basis than we weed out genetics. You're getting into Gattaca-style discussions. I'm completely, I don't want to pigeonhole anybody, but it all comes down to how far you're willing to go. It's just like the 9/11 discussion. How much freedom are you willing to give up to have safety?
That's true. And I'm kind of, I'm always for the more, like, less giving up freedoms. More, if there's going to be more danger, it's kind of the way it is.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I think the reason, like in the past, there's a lot less mental issues is that people has a purpose.
People have a purpose?
Now,
there's no purpose?
The life getting too comfortable. There's no purpose, and people got depression. Mm-hmm. Think about it. If you constantly have to worry about food, getting shelter, or being hunted down by some animals, you won't have time for this, right?
Do you think some of these shooters just like finish the final video game in their collection and they're like, what to do now?
What am I gonna do now?
What to do now? Well, I guess I could go shoot up school.
I could really use an adrenaline rush.
It could be though. Like really, that there's nothing really.
There's nothing satisfying or
no challenge, nothing to strive for. Yeah. Just you got your food, shelter, clothing. It's all. Even if you didn't try anything, you'd have that.
Especially the rich guy. That could describe exactly what happened with him. It's like I have money. I can do whatever I want. This is a boring life.
But I don't know if that's increased more since like the early 90s. I mean, maybe somewhat, but not like massively. You know what it is?
Yeah, that's true.
It's coverage of the Kardashians. That has gone up a lot since, since the school shootings. I think, you know what? Watching the Kardashians coverage makes me want to shoot people.
I would like to see a whole, what's the guy that wrote the, Freakonomics book?
Levitt and Dubner.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of.
That's
who's the guy that came up with the whole, 10,000 hours thing? Then?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking Gladwell popularized it, but he wasn't the one that wrote that thing.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that wrote the books about those, weird economic things. I was thinking
that was Freakonomics, but...
No, but I thought that's what he did, though, with the Gladwell. He wrote, a lot of his books
He wrote some pop science books, pop social science, which may include some economics, but it's more
let's say they had a lot of economics in
sociology.
Them. Well, either way, whoever it was, they should make a book all about patterns with school shootings and shootings in general.
I bet that would sell a lot.
It would. It was interesting to find out, hockey players tend to be born in, November or whatever it was. Yeah. It was, certain months that they tend to be born in because they tended to be bigger when they were in school because they were, they got to school a little later, so they're bigger and older, and then people just naturally train them more because they're already bigger, so they tended to do better, so coaches tended to focus on them, which means they got better.
That's straight up my brother.
And they will find that school shooters generally, read a lot more celebrity gossip columns.
I got a feeling that won't add up with the... I got a feeling the Joker guy didn't read a lot of Kardashian stuff.
He might have poked a hole in my theory. I don't do science.
I can tell you one thing that actually makes it way more likely. Being male.
Male and white.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah,
like
male and white.
No, not really. Yeah, there's been a couple Asians.
See.
Yeah,
but we're saying the biggest pattern is male and white.
I think male. I think a lot.
I still think male and white is the bigger. Well,
I think you just
big mass shootings.
Male is just, or white is just that's most of the country, so that kind of just follows along.
It skews the numbers.
Okay, so male.
Usually those people are being the school shooters.
Yeah, I can't think of a
those people
other than that one Asian guy and a couple Asian guys.
Has there been a female school shooter?
There was not a shooter. I think there was definitely one. I'm pretty sure I saw at one point in the 80s. I think
Okay.
What's her record? How's she hold up against the others?
Probably not very good. Otherwise, we would have heard of it.
She got one kill.
Your kill counts are too low.
There's been a few.
I know there's
been a
definitely
few?
been one that got a few.
Share your screen. Vehicular homicide. Let's ban cars.
So, okay, this lady, Czech woman, killed 8 people by driving. This is in Prague. I'm just looking for the U.S. Other countries don't count.
Okay, let me share mine.
Here's about them.
I know there was one.
You got
US
a
one.
good site? Hold on.
Yeah,
Cory has a good site. Let him share.
Well, it's not
Share.
a great site. It's Fox News, but
Fake news.
so
I like that.
starts with a girl who didn't.
Okay.
This
12-year-old.
He's just.
didn't actually kill
This is
anybody on
accidental
this.
discharge.
That's the first one. They keep going. Dorothy Duell shot her 15-year-old girlfriend.
So 2016 we got one. It looks like a lot of them are just taking the boyfriend's life.
Yeah, that's what most of
I
these.
feel like those don't.
Here you
actually
go,
count.
2010.
This is
Professor
like
Amy Bishop killed 3 people.
That's like a love kill. It's not like a mass shooting. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
So women.
There's
it
a
would
lot of just
appear-
one shot.
It's not the sociopathic.
2008 we got a 2 kill.
Tell me, you go back to the 80s.
See how far? Well,
Maybe 88,
there's
90.
88.
Hurt 30.
Okay, so.
Oh, she
killing a
was
principal
30.
custodian, wounding 8
Killed an
children, and a
8-year-old.
police officer.
Okay.
She fired from
Yeah,
the
there
house
really
across the
hasn't
street from the
been
school. I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's, like,
So-
completely random. I don't even know these people crossed, but I'm opening fire at an elementary school.
Oh yeah,
Did
this
she
is.
used to work at the elementary school?
Oh, yeah, that's the part I remember. She didn't like Mondays. That's why she said she did.
That's the reason she gave for why she did it. She didn't like.
You had a bad case of the Mondays?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
She started the shooting right after reading a Garfield column.
I hate Mondays.
Oh, that is hilarious.
That's,
So, and that's not even she went on to school. She literally shot from her house across the street. Wow. Yeah, so we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
can't think of the
So
Ten-
could an
10
indicator
total?
be too much testosterone?
An indicator is if you don't like Mondays. I'm suspicious of people that don't like Mondays now.
How hilarious would that be if... Isn't the shooter from this last one still alive?
The one in
Actually.
Florida, yeah.
Yeah. The
He was
recent
arrested peacefully.
Yeah, he's still alive.
He was, was it the mall they found him at? He was just going
think
about
so.
his normal day.
So maybe that'll give us some insight. Because usually they kill themselves.
Yeah.
What I love about this article right here, the tagline here says, 12-year-old girl opens fire in a classroom and shot a student. And then the actual story is, accidentally discharged the gun that was in her backpack. So she had a gun on school property.
This is such clickbait.
And probably intended, but it went off by accident.
It clearly wasn't her doing anything malicious on purpose.
Right. It tore through her wrist. That's not a purpose shot. That's a, oh fuck, I accidentally shot somebody.
Yeah.
She's still going to go to jail for a decade.
You think so? She's only 12.
She'll go till she's 20. They can keep you at a juvenile detention center until you're 21.
Really? That
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense to me. They can keep you past the juvenile age?
Yeah, they can keep most, like, actual juvenile prisons can keep you there till you're 21. Just so they don't have to go through the effort of transferring you to a real prison.
That's really weird.
I think where my wife works, they have people that are over the age of 18 in their juvenile rehabilitation center.
Well, what'd she do?
What's that?
What did she do?
She works at the office of, no, she's a quality assurance, and she prepares their paperwork for audits and stuff.
Quality assurance?
Yeah.
To make sure that
she makes
coming in are up to
Probably
up to
QA.
spec.
No,
QA.
it's QA is in make sure all the records are correct before a county comes in to check on them.
She cooks the books.
Legally.
So really, all we have is the pattern is male.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting though if they could test them and show like increased levels of testosterone.
I think so. I don't even know. I really wouldn't. I have no guesses other than just a little crazy.
Just a little?
Then why would it? If it's just crazy, why would it be so focused on males?
Okay, maybe. Okay, I gotcha.
It's like male and female both get the same mental disorders. So why would it? Why is
No,
it
they
that
don't.
males
They have at
get
different
the
rates of different things.
different rates? That's true.
Yeah.
But then you
Color
could
blindness is
probably
more of a
blame
male
that
thing.
on testosterone is why they get different things.
Yeah, could be. It might be.
And also, isn't testosterone one of the? It's like it can make you rage.
Mm.
That would make a little sense. Well, I feel like it would make you rage, not sit down and plan so thoroughly something.
A lot of them don't seem that planned.
You don't think so?
No. A lot of them just seem like they went and bought a gun and then went to the next day.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The only ones
You're like
that
somebody's. Go ahead.
like the real big ones are planned. Like Newton was a planned thing. Like I built up stock and ammunition for weeks beforehand.
Yeah, those are the bad ones.
Columbine was hugely planned. Anywhere they took the time to make sure exits were covered and more than one person involved are always planned. There's only been a few of those, but...
You know what's also different about Columbine? That was 2 people, right? Was it 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2
There's
people.
2.
I haven't all the rest that I can think of, at least off the top of my head.
Were
It's just
solo.
One guy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, there hasn't really been many of the 2.
Very strange.
Has there ever been another big 2 one?
No.
Oh, the wasn't there in San
Oh, the
Bernardino?
Boston bombing. Wasn't that 2
Oh,
people?
yeah, that was also 2 people. I was thinking also an Islamic one.
Yeah, let's say I don't really count the terrorist ones because that makes sense.
Because you can see how they would bring up, you hate America, I hate America too. We should kill people in America.
Yeah.
But like, if you I hate people too. We should kill people. I don't know. It just
Should
doesn't
we
seem
murder
like that
our
thing to
whole
bond
class?
over. Yeah.
Maybe we should murder our whole class? Like, why not? I feel like that always has to start as a joke. Like, how else would you just drop that in convo?
Oh, it would come up as like 2 kids getting high, angry in their basement, and I'm not talking pot, I'm talking fucking MDMA, yelling at each other, being mad, and being like, fuck this, let's just kill these assholes. Much more than a joke. Like, somebody gets bullied at school. Right.
Yeah. That's probably true. Just one of them or both of them going off on an angry rant about being bullied and being pissed off.
Like, we can solve this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how.
Man, that's going to be scary if there ever is another 2.
Well, I'm looking, and it looks like that's been the only one.
Really?
Wow.
That's really strange.
Really hard to convince a second guy.
Right. And who do you trust? Like,
Yeah.
to not
I had a feeling like
the
a
day
lot of
before.
one people started, like, I tried to start a 2 people one, and then they, were reported.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's probably true. That's also why I was wondering, like, how many people have started to go through with the plans for something like this and just didn't do it. Like, you're saying, like, bought the gun, and then the next day was like, maybe I shouldn't just murder a bunch of people.
I slept on it and thought, let's not kill everybody.
Slept it off. There has to be
I'm
some
sure
people who have done that, right? That's had to have happened.
Yeah.
There's been enough now where you can definitively say there's probably been some that didn't go through with it. I think I'd be more worried about, instead of the school shootings, the school bombings, if there's ever one of those, though.
There's plenty of threats of those in our area at the moment.
Is there really?
3 different schools in Richland and Crawford County were shut down this week for bomb threats being called in.
Yeah,
what's the ratio of threats to actual bombings? Because I've heard so many bomb threats.
Yeah.
Practically never a bombing.
Right.
I can't think of an actual bombing.
You call in a bombing when you forgot to study for your class and you want to get out of it. That's when kids start calling in bombings.
I wonder if, like, when they do call it in, if it's really half-assed. Because it's like, you know, they just went out of the test. Like, yeah, hey, I'm going to bomb the school. It's going to be about 2 o'clock. Bye.
That would be so funny. I'm definitely going to bomb the school. Probably either Monday or Tuesday.
Hey, wait. When's the quiz
I might do Wednesday. I don't know.
Like, whenever my AP English class is, let's just say that.
It's definitely going to go off then.
I'm thinking it's going to be the month of January, like one of those days. Definitely in January. I wonder how many people get caught though putting in a bomb threat.
The one kid in Madison was caught last year. Him and another student were doing it, and the other student went and told his mom.
This is why you can't have a partner.
So again, yeah, they trusted somebody.
Idiots. So anyways, I don't understand why people don't talk about bombings more when they're talking about, like, banning guns, when you can... I feel like with the internet age, I'm not going to search the shit on my computer, but if you really wanted to, you could search how to make a bomb with household chemicals. And probably wreak way more havoc.
There's a book you can go buy with if you can find a copy of it anywhere anymore.
That's you don't have to buy it, you have the internet.
Yeah, but if you can get a physical copy of an internet's cookbook, then you don't have to buy it or Google it. You can just, look. So these people find other people with like-minded ideas and be like, oh yeah, let me borrow your anarchist cookbook. And that comes with... You can still find copies of it. I don't think anybody prints it anymore.
New editions, like updated?
I don't think so. After all the shit they went through with the first one, I very much doubt they have updated versions.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, it'd be interesting if they actually make, like, updates to, like, new chemicals and stuff.
Well, that's like, Mythbusters had an episode they didn't air and was destroyed because they went around just mixing household chemicals and seeing what they could do and found a big group of explosives.
Yeah, it turned out it was too dangerous. They found out you could actually make way too many explosives, and they're like, we can't ever air this episode.
They told the ATF of their findings.
To control when it's going to explode, that's the hard part. And keep it stable, that's not explode. And explode at the time that you want to explode.
It's not terrible.
Right.
No, it's difficult.
I don't think it would be too bad. I think a lot of it would be
with... containers.
But what about the reaction
exactly.
time?
Just you mix the chemicals and then run.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That'd be reaction time.
That's reaction. Like you can do partial reaction too, right? If you just set it over there.
I don't know. I don't know enough about bombs of how to make timing devices for chemical bombs.
Easiest way is a cell phone.
Go with the Hurt Locker strategy.
Right.
Yeah. You know, there was one crazy, like, a teenager in the late 80s, I think, tried to build his own nuclear reactor.
Oh, yeah. He suffered from radiation.
Yeah, so you can try to build a nuclear bomb if you really want.
It's true.
Problem with that is you got to be able to split an atom to set that off, and it's not the easy part.
Bro, I got a pair of scissors.
Apparently, in smoke detectors, there's trace amounts of americium, which is radioactive.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so if you just... That's what that guy did. He went through junkyards and gathered smoke detectors, and he started taking out the trace amounts.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's how you get leukemia, kids.
Oh yeah, he died. I know this because it was in the news like in the last year that he died. Presumably from some sort of radiation poisoning. Because they showed a picture of him and he looked really fucked up.
Fuck, what's her name? Madam whatever
Curie?
who discovered radiation?
Yeah.
Curie?
Yeah.
Curie, yeah. Dying of radiation poisoning or cancer.
And
Imagine
why,
that.
Like, people don't know about radiation poisoning, so I think it's pretty legitimate for her. But for that kid, it's like, well, apparently you didn't do your research.
You knew all
through.
about this, but you didn't know enough to like put protection on while you gathered this stuff.
Remember that lead vest they put on when you go to visit the dentist? Guess what? It's pretty important. You might want to cover your shit in lead.
They don't just do it for shits and giggles.
So, I'm on this Washington Post infographic they've got here that's all about mass shootings. And it's actually a pretty cool interactive thing. And at the bottom, they've got like people.
Did you say it's a really cool interactive thing about mass shootings? It's
a cool infograph. The subject sucks, but the infograph is well programmed. And gotcha. I was scrolling through reading some of them, and this one took place November 13th, 1966. And the guy went into a beauty school, Rosemar College of Beauty, in Arizona. His excuse, or what he told the police afterwards, was he just wanted to make a name for himself. He killed 5 people, injured 2, used 1 gun, and one of the victims was a child.
Jesus.
But as far back as 66,
I have no idea who the guy is.
Right?
Yeah, you just said his name and I forgot it already.
His name actually isn't on this article. And that's probably why. Yeah. But as far back as 66, you had people going in and shooting loads of people to get famous for it.
Even before the Columbine one, the famous one was in Texas, where some guys went up to a watchtower and shot people with a sniper rifle.
Yeah,
it was a Eminem song, right? Along the watchtower. It's about that.
So,
but it was very rare. It prompted a song then.
Yeah.
Now it's like a...
Yeah, what do you do now? Like, we don't have artists that do that anymore. No, like, there's no school shooting song.
No.
It's too daily.
Which one? You have a new song every other week.
That's what I mean. That's why you can't do it. You'd be like, what are we singing about this time? Florida?
Yeah.
That was University of Texas.
Yeah.
Was the All Along the Watchtowers shooter.
Yeah, I'm talking about there would the be another one for Florida. And then, like
there was just a school shooting 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The problem is it had single-digit kills, so everyone's completely forgotten about it.
Right.
A single-digit kill?
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7 kills.
Lame.
Or maybe it was 3, I forget. We podcasted about it, and we're like, that's where we talked about this is never going to make news because you have to have at least double-digit kills to have news now.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And we've proved our point.
Yep.
So how much longer do you think they're going to be talking about their school shooting? You think it has maybe one more week of news?
Yeah, maybe one more week.
Maybe.
The real question is, how many more times until it's like, double digits? Like, we're going to watch that.
I feel like it might be, you need to get above like 25 at some point. And then it'll be above 50. Yeah, it'll creep. Oh, God, we say this. Now it's going to happen. It's literally going to happen soon.
It might. You never know.
We said this shit last time, and that immediately happened. And also, copycat.
Hey, you never know. I might end up with $10 million next week.
Yeah, you never know. It could just be $1 million. Shows up on my front porch.
So I just throw that out there.
Well, might as well. All right. Anything else we can talk about with the school shootings before we sign off?
We wrapping this up?
Yeah. Kids, I would say stay in school, but now I'm not sure.
But you know what?
I mean, homeschooling is on the rise.
Yeah.
Kids, get homeschooled. Oh shit! What happens if there's ever a school shooting at a homeschool?
Oh my god!
I mean, that's just considered
right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because sometimes like homeschooled kids get together at places to like play.
Yeah.
That's next level shit right there.
Do you think like it's far less likely, I think, that a homeschool kid would ever become a mass shooter or obviously not shoot up a school, but even want to kill
just become a mass shooter, period?
Yeah, no, I just mean like
I feel like yes, because a lot of homeschooled kids are... A lot of people homeschool their kids because they care about their education so much more.
Yeah, because they care.
Yeah, exactly. So they're kids that are cared for,
Yeah,
so they're less likely to just go crazy and shoot people.
Yeah. I just think, like, school is somewhat institutionalized. It's like...
Yeah, it's an outdated thing.
Personalized.
Yeah.
Like, the teachers get new kids I know a lot of them say they care so much about the kids, but, like, they're going to get a new class, new set of people every year. They know they're only, with you for so long. And I think a lot of people, it's just like...
I know if I had a kid, I'd want to homeschool him.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There's
I would go for homeschooling.
Real connection between a lot... And, like, the kids are only there with the other kids. I don't know.
Yep.
Like, yeah... Not quite as much as
I'm with you.
It's
I
all
agree.
very, very institutionalized, very different than like what a healthy environment generally is.
Very true.
Mm.
And the crazy part about that is
not good.
Teachers have to pass classes about making sure things don't get that way. And that's still the way the system is designed to be.
Yeah.
Like the whole praxis thing is supposed to curtail...
Exactly. And you know what? In business school, I had ethics classes, but how's Wall Street doing? Like, they're just little things you check a box. They never work.
Yeah. Yep. So true. You agree, Nick? If you had kids, you would do homeschooling as well?
I don't know. Private schooling.
Private schooling?
Yeah, I don't think public school, or at least. Yeah, I don't know.
I would definitely try not public school, because I know I could have got a much better education with either private schooling or homeschooling.
Exactly.
I feel like I could have got a better education just watching YouTube videos that I was interested in.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of our teachers some were good. Some were...
Yeah, some.
I don't think they were all together that bright.
Most weren't. Most just made you memorize the shit and then take a test about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're describing my college at the moment. Here's a video. Memorize what we say in the video. Take the test on Tuesday. All right, start your next class.
Has a lot to do where, like, it used to be teacher actually, reputable person, have a certain intelligent level.
I think it also goes back to, it used to be like everyone knew the teacher. Like, communities used to be smaller. So it used to be a lot closer to being homeschooled. Like,
That's
the
very
teacher
true.
would have known the parents of every child, like, personally. And
Yeah.
now they don't. It's not personal at all.
Well, it's not like it's personal in private school either.
Yeah, no.
It depends on the private school.
Yeah, if you have enough money, it'll be personal.
Yeah, it depends on the private school.
No,
the three of us went to the same elementary school, and my parents had the same 6th grade teacher that I had. I'm not going to drop her name.
They all had the same
angry
English teacher.
Yeah.
Right. And they knew us coming in, and they're like, "Oh, I know how to get a hold of your parents." Like, son of a bitch.
See, I feel like that's a little better, you know? I don't know.
It's probably why we got somewhat of a better education than people who went to other schools.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as I think ours sometimes was, I think if you go into inner city or certain parts, 10 times worse.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Like, out of the public schools, we got a decent public school.
Yeah.
That's basically what you can say about our education. But we could still see we got enough of an education to realize how bad our education was.
Just to know enough.
And here's the sad part. The sad part is the high schools and schools we went to are still the top rated in our area. Like Shelby.
What is that, like 4 other options in our area?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you got Mansfield City schools, like...
Yeah, exactly. That's just terrible.
I would assume St. Pete's would have been better, but no, they score lower than Shelby as well. So,
but what are their metrics, too? Like,
I'm guessing it's standardized testing scores.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, does that Pioneer half the reason why it's bad? That's counted separately, right?
See what?
So, when's the standardized test? If you peel off the Pioneer, I think ours could be pretty good.
Yeah. That's true.
Don't leave us Pioneer.
That probably helps Shelby City schools get better numbers when people go to Pioneer.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're more likely to go there if you're in Shelby.
That's true. That's a good point.
And so more college-bound students are taking the standardized tests while in Shelby City.
Fluffing our numbers.
Yeah. So I think a lot of these things are just artifacts of stuff like that. It's not really like the quality of the school or whatever.
That's interesting to think about. I don't know. Alright. Well, I'm headed out.
Alright. Yep, later. Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Am I late? Yeah, it's like 2 days ago.
You're late.
2 days late, but
whatever.
It's all good.
You know what?
I made it on Facebook.
It's not like we call each other every day to catch up.
Yeah. No, just every school shooting.
Just